Here we have really a cockroach. He's in for indecent behavior with a juvenile. I couldn't find anything on the internet other than that offense. This will be the first time watching it with you, but brace yourself.
Good morning, Mr. Chisolm. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm fine, other than being nervous. I'm okay. Thank you.
Good. Would you please give us your full name and your Department of Corrections ID?
Damon Henry Chisolm, 591037.
Thank you, Mr. Chisolm. My name is Alvin Roche. To my left is Ms. Pearl Wise. To my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. Let me explain the process to you. I will read some information into the record. Once that information is in the record, we'll conduct a parole interview review. At the appropriate time, we'll allow Warden Goodwin to make comments if he wishes. And then you have guests. First of all, you have Mina Green, your sister, who would like to speak. Ms. Sherry Thompson, your daughter, would like to speak. And Mr. Zachary Thompson, your son-in-law, who would like to speak. Also present, we have Ms. Leslie Hampton, your daughter, and she would not be speaking. Each of these persons will be given approximately 3 minutes to make a statement. At the end of these statements, we'll give you a chance to make a brief statement on your behalf, and then we will vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir, I do.
We have Damon H Chisolm. He's currently 59 years old. He is a first felony offender. His offense is indecent behavior with a juvenile. He was sentenced on January 27, 2012. He received an 18-year sentence. He's been incarcerated approximately 12 and a half years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
His parole date was July 24th, 2016. He's not eligible for good time. His full term date is July 26, 2028. Is that information correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Mr. Chisolm, your case has been assigned to me, so I'm going to start with the interview. You're currently 59 years old. You've been incarcerated for 12 and a half years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And this is a rehearing for you, right?
Yes, sir, this is my second rehearing.
So this is your third hearing.
Yes, sir.
And last time that you were denied was in what, 2019?
Yes, sir, May 17th of 2019.
Okay, and you were denied based upon victim opposition and law enforcement opposition. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And you were requested to reapply when you were eligible. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That was the instructions I was given.
Okay, so you waited a little longer than you had to. Is there a reason why you waited some three and a half years?
I mailed the application off after 2 years, and for some reason, the application was not received. After about 11 months, my family was able to get a hold of your board, and they notified me they had not received the application, which I was unaware of. So I was directed to reapply, and so
Okay.
that's what happened with that.
And we're here today.
Yes, we're here today.
So tell us what programs you have completed since 2019.
Since 2019, I've finished the sex offender treatment program. I think I completed phase 4 and the facilitator phase in that. I've taken Thinking for a Change. I have to look at my notes. I'm nervous, so I'm kind of forgetful here. But Thinking for a Change. I'm currently in victim awareness. I have about 6 weeks left in victim awareness, I think. I'm also in reentry, the reentry pre-release program. I've taken a carpentry VOTEC class. That was an 18-month course that I've completed there. I've continued with the classes that were available, such as Veterans Incarcerated and AANA. I've continued attending those.
So basically, you're in reentry right now, pre-release, and you're
Yes, sir.
also in victim awareness.
Yes, sir.
Tell me exactly what sex offender treatment means to you. What did you get from sex offender treatment?
It helped me kind of identify what I had done and how to. I know what I did was extremely bad and it was wrong, and I know this. So I had to. The program kind of helped me identify the process that it took that I followed. I was able to identify, the risk factors. I could look back at my crime and see, how every one of those risk factors was applied, how I applied or I displayed every one of those risk factors in my own. So it kind of helped me to follow a trail how I got from point A where I was before the offense committed until the point where I was committing this offense. And it meant that I know I can identify these things. Were they to happen again, I can identify if I were perhaps going back down that particular path. I could stop. I also learned in there that there was they use a terminology called high risk situation. That was something that kind of stuck in my mind. I know that if granted parole or when I do release someday, never to allow myself to get in a situation where I could reoffend. That is the best choice, just to stay out of any high risk situations that would allow me to do this. But it was I was able to take a good look at myself, kind of like a reflection in the mirror. Didn't necessarily like what I saw, but I needed to make changes, I know. So this did help me with this.
I see that you completed Thinking for a Change in 2022. Tell us about Thinking for a Change.
Thinking for a Change was that was a class that kind of the focus was on, instead of reacting so much, you would stop and think about what you were doing before you did it. And so you would try to think of alternatives and make choices that were better choices rather than sometimes we react quickly to something, but you need to stop, think about what you're doing, consider the consequences, make a better choice, and hopefully have a better outcome.
I see that you're currently enrolled in the carpentry program. Have you completed that program?
Yes, sir. I completed that program on January 1st of this year. That's been completed, 18 months of carpentry 1 and 2.
Okay. So tell us about your transition plan. Where do you plan to live and where do you plan to work?
My daughter and my son-in-law Sherry and Zach Thompson they've asked me to come. They want me to come and stay with them in Batesville, Arkansas. That's my plan, is to go there. And I have several job possibilities lined up there, job interviews, and so that's my eventual goal. I was a subcontractor before coming to prison. I would like to perhaps go back into my business as a subcontractor. I did new home construction, and I'd like to work back towards that goal. That would be something I would like to do. I think the carpentry VOTEC kind of helps me with that. But that is my goal.
Let me summarize the information I got from the information that was given to me. You have a good transition plan in Batesville, Arkansas, with your daughter, Sherry Thompson. You've served about 70% of your sentence. You completed all 4 phases of the sex offender treatment. You have a low risk assessment. Your static 99 is 0, which is very low. And you know what a static 99 is. So it's low. You have support letters from your former wife not many people can get letters of support from their former spouse, but you do have a letter from your former wife, the mother of Sherry, who is support. You have no disciplinary issues, this incarceration, which is fantastic. And you have above average work evaluations. And all of this is on the positive side of the scale for you because you have performed well during incarceration. Warden Goodwin, would you like to make any comments at this time?
Mr. Rusty, I think you covered everything. He asked him, as he mentioned to you, complete that carpentry program, and we reassigned him back to our maintenance shop. He's working in maintenance right now. He did complete phase 4 of the sex offender program, as he indicated to you. He's been a model prisoner, no disciplinary actions whatsoever. He's always very respectful of staff and gets along well with staff and offenders. So he's been no problem at all since he's been at this institution.
Thank you, Warden Goodwin.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Warden. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I have a question. With this residence plan in Arkansas, are there any children in that house?
No, sir. My daughter, her daughter is grown. She has one child and she's grown and she's 20 years old and married. So there are no children in this house whatsoever. That would be something I would consider to be a high risk. So I know I cannot go to some place where there are children. So
Well, okay. Thank you.
Ms. White?
And you also recognize that as grandkids coming around, the daughter is married now, some kids will be coming. So you have to make sure the same thing applies there. And one other question, the victim in this matter indicated that the victim had been abused by her stepbrother. Was that your son?
No, ma'am, it was not my son. That was her stepbrother from her father. Her father had another relationship, had a child from a previous marriage or relationship. So it was not my son, though.
Okay, thank you. That clears that up for me. Thank you. That's all I had, Jim.
Thank you, Ms. White. At this time, would Ms. Green open your mic, please? Ms. Green is the sister of Mr. Chisolm. Ms. Green, would you give us your name, your relationship, make your statement?
Yes, my name is Mina Green. I'm Damon's older sister. And I do want to say that I also sent a letter to the parole board. So I don't know what happened to it, but of course they don't, I guess you're not in the habit of letting us know. So I wanted to get that out there. And then I wanted to, sorry?
We do have your letter.
Oh, good. Okay. I wanted to let you know that Damon will have my full support as well as my husband. He's at work or he'd be here. And just wanted to assure you, we will make sure that Damon has all the support he needs to become an active, good member of society again.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, Ms. Sherry Thompson, his daughter. Would you give your full name and your statement, please?
My name is Sherry Thompson, and I just want to say I feel like he's learned his lesson despite being in the environment he's been in. I feel like he's improved himself, and I have a lot of health issues, and it would be a lot of help to us to have him here to help us out physically with some things around the house. And I've also gotten 2 job possibilities set up for him. And he can stay with us as long as he needs to.
Thank you, Ms. Sherry, and I wish you well, Ms. Thompson. His son-in-law, Zachary Thompson,
Yes.
would you give your name and a statement?
Yes, I'm Zachary Thompson. I believe he's truly sorry for what he did. And he has a lot of love and support here waiting for him. He has all of our support, like Sherry said. And we know that he would be helpful to us too. And he also has a loving congregation that would love and support him here.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. We also have Ms. Leslie Hampton and the daughter, and she will not be speaking because we don't allow 3 persons to speak on the behalf of the offender. Ms. Chisolm, would
Yes,
you
sir.
like to make statements before we vote?
Yes, sir. I realized what I did was a very serious crime. To say I'm sorry is kind of an understatement. I don't undervalue how serious that was. I know that I'm completely guilty of this. I take 100% responsibility with what I've done. I own that. I can't blame that on anyone else but me. I'm very sorry for what I've done. I know if given an opportunity for parole, I will succeed in never reoffending again. I also know that this requires that I will never have any contact with this family whatsoever, never bother these people again. This was a good family that I hurt, and I deeply regret that I did this to them. They didn't deserve what I had done. I deeply apologize, but I guess that's all I can say.
Thank you, Mr. Chisolm.
Thank you.
Is the panel ready to vote? The case was assigned to me, so I will vote first. Based upon you serving 70% of your sentence, you've completed all your sex offender treatment, you have a low risk assessment score, you have a low static 99, good programs and positive remarks for Ward Goodwin. My vote is to grant conditionally on an approved ICOT to Arkansas. You understand that this is a conditional grant, and I don't know whether your ICOT has been approved or not, but this grant is conditioned on an approved ICOT to Arkansas. After release, you are to follow all conditions of your sex offender registry, have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and attend NAAA meetings at least 3 times a week. And you are to do 3 hours of community service, get with your pastor, get with your parole officer, and do some kind of community service 2 or 3 hours a month. I said a week, it's a month. You understand those conditions?
Yes, sir, I do.
Mrs. White.
Yes, sir. He has 6 more weeks of the victim awareness. I don't know. If we wanna-
One
Yeah.
second. Okay. Thank you, Ms. White.
Yes, sir.
A conditional grant, condition on the ICOT to Arkansas, completion of anger management, and completion of 100 hours pre-release. Are those the 2 courses you're in now?
Excuse me?
Victim awareness.
Yes,
and,
yes. Yes,
100 hours in victim awareness, Mr. Rocha.
Okay,
I ain't-
so basically, it's a conditional grant, the ICOT in Arkansas, victim awareness completion, and the completion of 100 hours pre-release. Thank you, Ms. White.
Mr. Damon, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about this victim, but the information that we have in the record shows that the minor victim's mother and father, they are forgiving you. They are not, they're in support of you getting released. And so mainly for that reason, and the warden's comments, the positive warden's comments and what you've been doing since the crime, my vote is to grant as well. And I concur with the conditions that's set forth by my colleagues. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I concur with my colleagues and vote to grant with the same condition.
Mr. Chisolm, we have received 3 votes to grant you're released conditionally. First is that you have an approved ICOT to Batesville, Arkansas. Second condition that you complete victim awareness. Third condition that you complete 100 hours pre-release. Conditions after release that you have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. That you follow all conditions of your sex offender registry. You do 3 hours of community service a month, and that you attend at least 3 NAAA meetings a week. Do you understand those conditions?
I do, sir. I do have one question I'd like to ask before you complete. It's concerning the ICOT. I've submitted my daughter's address in Batesville. There's a question about the proximity to a school. We're not certain about it. We think it's going to be okay. We're not 100% certain. My sister Mina Green and her husband have offered me a residence in their home in Waco, in the Waco, Texas area as an alternative should that be necessary. I think we'll be okay with the Arkansas address, but I can't say for sure how Arkansas is going to view the distancing. It's kind of borderline. And so I don't know. And you said in a condition of an ICOT to Arkansas, if by chance Arkansas were to deny me, would I be allowed to have the Texas ICOT approved also?
We had a hyphen, a dash, a slash between in the group ICOT to Arkansas / Texas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You have received 3 votes to grant your request for early release conditionally. When those conditions are met, you be released. You have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi.
It's watching hearings like these that just make you think, like, have I gone mad? Are we all going crazy? When you can sit and watch this and feel like, what just happened? How is it that I'm the only one in this room that is disgusted by what I just saw? I cannot find a single detail of this crime. It is as if it never existed. But I can guarantee you it is nasty. And what we're looking at is a predator that has been doing this for his entire life, and he was only caught. And he's going to be getting back out. Mind you, he's going to be getting back out 6 years early. They even gave him an opportunity to be like, why did you wait a couple of years not to apply early? Oh no, I did apply, it just the paperwork got lost. He could have said, oh, this or that. I don't know, I love it. I love how they always say with these predators that their risk assessment is low, and that is just so absurd. It's so crazy. It's like, who designs these risk assessments for these predators, for these monsters, for these mentally ill cockroaches? Who does it? We're in a system where they would actually give every single one of these predators the lowest risk assessment for reoffending, and it's just insane. Like, people need to be held accountable. Whoever creates this charge, they need to be held accountable. Everyone needs to know this is what's happening. We're letting predators back on the street, potentially on the fringe of whether it's too close to a school or not too close to a school. Do you think that he's not going to reoffend again? I love how he describes his. He said, he's learned his lesson. Is that what his kid said about him? He's learned his lesson. He's learned his lesson. He's locked up, so he's learned his lesson. He's not going to do it again. He said he's truly sorry for what he did. He hasn't even he's been locked up for all this time, and he's still taking programs. And it wouldn't make any difference. No, it wouldn't. But I mean, why is he? It's like he hasn't even completed. He could have completed everything. Why is he? What has he been doing? It's sick. He's the scariest type of predator too. We've seen predators where they kind of have a bullseye on their head, but no, he's well spoken. He can be your preacher next door. I'm saying with his voice or he wants to be a contractor, building new homes, and he's a secret monster. And then it's just disgusting to hear that the parents of the victim doesn't oppose. I am not, this is it's something that I am very cautious about. Don't judge a victim and all those things. I don't think I've ever, but this is something that I can't wrap my mind around. It's just not something I can wrap my mind around. And they did oppose all the other releases. So what's different a few years later? It almost makes me think something nefarious could have happened. Remember, all of these are just my own opinion. For anyone who would want to go out there and sue me for trying to keep a child predator locked up. This is just my opinion. Where's the DA? Where is the DA? Should be ashamed of themselves. They need to be held accountable. They show up to keep the drug dealer in the street. Mind you, someone's selling pot. Locked up in the 90s, who's been 40 years locked up. They'll show up for that guy. Where is he for this guy? Where's the DA? Where's the DA? I would love to sit down with them and say, can you explain to me why you did not feel it was important to show up? Or you're busy, write a letter. Why was it not important for you to write a letter? And they are happy they're sending him out of Louisiana. Give him to some other state. The kids, our children in Texas aren't that important. No. A child gets hurt, it's on every single one of you's hands who showed up to this hearing in support of him. It is. You'd have to live with that. And he talks about, what is it? The father talked about, no, his son, his wife, his daughter's husband. Did he bring up his church? Oh, we're waiting to have him here. Put your head in the sand. Keep it there. The idea that someone can destroy a child's life, we don't even have any details, but I've seen so many of these cases where I don't need to hear it. And I know that he has been doing this. Again, it's just my opinion. You don't just start at the age of 40? Who was it his stepdaughter? Even the mother, his ex-wife? wife was like, what world are we living in? It's like everything is upside down. You know what? So we don't know, but then so let's just have the DA show up. There's no why would he not serve out the remainder 6 years of his sentence? He got just 18 years for destroying a child's life. And you'd have to be a complete idiot to believe that he had done this just one time. You could not look me straight in the face, or anyone straight in the face, and say, he only did it one time. He's not even denying that he has a disease. He would just wake up one day and do it. At however old he was when he did it, 50, 60. You don't just wake up one day and do that. This is the first time he got caught. Sick. We live in a sick, twisted world. And when cockroaches like that can get away with it, and we keep our head in the sand, then we're culpable. So yeah, we need to start holding our DAs accountable. And it's an elected position, so they can be held accountable.